Hi guys, so today we're doing backhand volley technical progressions, and I didn't really have a chance to say yesterday about the fact that you wouldn't go through the progressions if they didn't already have the pupils at the very low ages of 4 to 6 in Launchpad, the fundamental motor skills or the cognitive ability to work out what you're saying. So be very aware that if they don't have the fundamental motor skills, some of this technical stuff may not be relevant even for the youngest kids, even though we're modifying, etc., etc. So always take that into consideration. And remember, this progression stuff just gives you a step-by-step guideline and process to skill acquisition, so you become better at being able to teach your kid by stage how they progress. Progressions are meant to build upon the basics and go from simple to more complex. So be aware of the fact we're going to start simple for the young kids and obviously get more complicated as we get older. You can either go forward or backward progressions. If you go forward, you start with the most simplistic stuff and then step by step teaching the more complex stuff, which is a normal way to do it. But you can always go backwards too, where you start with the most advanced stuff, see where the kids are able to do it. That way you don't need to go through the progressions. And then if necessary, go backwards as they can't do things, and you simplify it more and more and more until you get right back to like stage one or step one. But it's up to you to work out whether you go forward or back. Forward's probably the more logical way to do it. Makes a bit more sense probably. So the backhand volley we're going to do for Launchpad first of all. So we're going to talk about the grip. The grip should be basically Eastern backhand grip. Remember, we're talking about 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds maybe. Even for a really young kid, they need to have this grip to get the stability and strength. Otherwise, we start teaching a two-handed backhand volley, and we really want to avoid that if we can. The problem with the two-handed volley is that when they do two hands, they get the stability, but they get it in an unproductive stroke sort of production-wise. So we want to really try and emphasize one hand right from the start. The way to do it is to get an Eastern backhand grip, so knuckle on bevel 1, and obviously your palm pad or your heel pad on bevel 1 as well. Left hand can hold the racket like this. We're using our markers again to get our feet correct. So all I'm going to do is start with the racket back. This is now a 4 or 5-year-old, remember? Racket back, knuckle on top. I've already got the racket in position. The coach is going to come in and do a gentle throw, and I just tap back to my opponent, okay? So all I'm doing is just a little tap like this, just trying to control the ball, have the strings facing towards the coach so she or he can catch it and start again. So there, racket back and push, racket back and push, racket back and push. Next progression. So now I'm, say, a red ball player. I don't need to start with the racket back. I can now start with the racket in ready position. All I've got to do now is exactly the same technique, but from here, turn, step, and push. And so the three qualities together. So turn, step, and push, and my face to the racket facing that direction, towards my partner. Another thing we're trying to emphasize to the kids at this stage, really young kids, is that not to do a windscreen wiper volley. So every volley is a forehand volley, basically, this sort of thing. Okay, we want to really emphasize the sides of the racket, that this side of the racket is forehand volley, and this side of the racket is backhand volley, the opposite side. So this side is my forehand, and the other side is my backhand volley. And if you don't do that, the kids will get really confused when you take them from this position back to a forehand volley, and they might start doing even this, the backward backhand volley. So be very careful the way you explain it to them, and try and emphasize that's your forehand or backhand volley on this side, forehand volley obviously on the opposite side of the racket. Keep the racket up, just take it to your shoulder and push. Now remember, I'm still using backhand grip at this stage. I'm making everything strong and firm. I'm trying to discourage a two-handed volley because it's very hard to break that habit once I get into it. So let go of the racket as I hit it, and that's a backhand volley for a red ball player. Backhand volley for orange ball. At this stage, maybe 8, 9, 10, they can start using a continental grip. So knuckle on bevel 2, heel pad on bevel 1. So keep it nice and strong still, but now you've got the correct continental grip. Left hand starts at the throat. You can either start back or in ready position, but based on the same technique. So turn, step, and push. Nothing special about that. It's pretty much the same, except now I've got a continental grip. Now I'm progressing to green ball, 10, 11, 12. Kids are a bit stronger, a bit taller, a bit more able to take more specific information and more complex information. So now we're trying to use the same grip. Maybe start with the racket face open to try and generate that little bit of underspin that we spoke about on the forehand volley yesterday. But the same thing on the backhand volley, where I just turn and push and try and lead with the bottom edge of the racket, create the underspin, and stop with my racket face facing my target. So I'm always freezing on the follow through and then back in front of my nose. So green ball, you're really trying to emphasize an open racket face and get that little bit of underspin. Now we're going to do yellow ball, most advanced of them all. All you're going to do is vary it a little bit more. So same technique. The big change technically is going to be a step out, load the body weight, and then step in, the same as the forehand volley yesterday. So I step out, load and step in, and now I'm getting a much more powerful backhand volley from still a short backswing and a nice strong punch through the back of the ball. The racket keeps level to your shoulder, Your racket head, of course, is above your wrist to keep that lovely V shape, V for victory. Keep the left hand here for support, and then just let go as you step in. Remember, step out first, and step in on the volley as you play the shot. The only other variations there, of course, are now you're going to get more technical. You're going to do some low volleys maybe, so low down low. I might do a wide volley out wide, so I stretch and have to recover, and then I might do a high volley and try and push through the back of the ball. So you do all those different variations. You can even do one into your body where you do a side step and push, but as you get more advanced, all this stuff becomes pretty common sense, because obviously now you're going to get volleys in different areas of the court towards your backhand side. Okay? Any questions, feel free to send them to me. Otherwise, enjoy this video, and we're going to be doing smash tomorrow. Cheers.